So as you know, because you've been, wonderful talking to our two schools here that are closing, Bateman and Pearson, and I know Lisa, Tony, and Amy and Denise are here. I'm sure there's other people here as well. What would you do to prevent school closures?
So this is I'm glad you raised this, and there were some great community activists in Burlington who I hosted a press conference with. It's the issue of school closures. It's actually happening across the province. And the government spin was it's only happening in communities that are half empty, where it's declining populations. But I actually think the government's closing schools to pay for their own mismanagement. Mm-hmm. We actually did the research in the legislative library. This government has now closed 700 schools across the province. And now they're saying, because we've been making this an issue at Queen's Park, that they're going to finally put a moratorium on some northern and rural schools. But that doesn't help Burlington at all. Frankly, I think there should be a moratorium across the province. I put forward that motion in the legislature, and I was disappointed that the Liberal MPPs showed up and voted against that motion. Even your own MPP in Burlington didn't have the courage to say these schools in Burlington shouldn't be closed. You got Robert Bateman and Lester Pearson, historic schools for Burlington, that are going to be shuttered. I think if you take schools out of a community, you rip the heart out of a community. And I don't buy their spin. I don't. I want to go a bit further on this, because you got one school that provides important education for children with special needs, and the government's saying that it's declining enrollment. Well, there might be declining enrollment in some small town. Burlington is not some small town. Saying that Burlington has declining enrollment and is not growing, I don't buy that. Vaughan, they're closing a school in Vaughan. Vaughan's not a shrinking community. They closed a school, Barrie Central, in downtown Barrie. We've had a 6% growth rate for 10 years, and they're telling me there's not enough kids to go to school in Barrie. The numbers do not add up. This is the government making you pay, making your children pay for their own mismanagement. I would absolutely adopt a moratorium, not just for rural schools, but for schools like the ones in Burlington.
Hear, hear.